Hey everybody, how's it going? Brbteabreak here, today doing a first impression on Guild Commander, which is a management strategy game developed and published by Gamer to Game developer. And Guild Commander is a unique twist on management games. The goal of this game is you manage heroes in your guild and send them off to do different missions in provinces and for them to get loot, get stronger, and eventually be able to defeat the bad guys in the end. We'll get in here and get started. So first you name your guild name, and obviously some difficulties here. Easy mode is for console gamers, so you console gamers out there, if you ever for some reason buy a PC, you got this option. But first we'll get our guild name here. Name whatever you want, you actually never see it, so it doesn't matter. We'll name it Fairy Tale, because that's the best guild. And we'll get in here quickly. So here you go, you're one of the few who have escaped the Dead Isles, blah blah blah, a bit of a story. Pretty much the goal is to make all these provinces on the left be prosperous and eventually fight the oncoming onslaught at the end. And if too many provinces get destroyed or you fall too much in the debt, as you go on, you end up losing also. Do you want a tutorial? We don't need a tutorial. So first we have our little heroes down here. We have Nerdoculus right here and What Orders. And there's scholars and soldiers, so they have different roles which help depending on what kind of status the realms we're trying to save are in. And as you see here, we have these, 6 provinces, and they all have different statuses at the moment, which is based on the security here. And depending on their statuses, depends on how effective each unit you send, or each hero is. So for example, scholars, you see here, they have very weak overall stats, besides when it comes to knowledge and health and energy. So you hover over the knowledge section, we can see here they're good in prosperity, peace, and construction periods. So right now we can see none of these statuses are either of those. So the scholar is very weak right now. But the soldier on the other hand, who's very good in strength and equipment, in this case equipment, usually just strength, is very good in destroy, chaos, and dangerous situations. And you can see here a lot of those are those situations. We also have, outside of these units right here, as you see the bar isn't quite full yet, and to improve these or make them just, heal up the full, we have to go to these buildings here and we can assign different room purchases. So a combat hall, for example, will restore the strength, which is what our warrior or our soldier needs in order to have full strength, in order to be, most efficient when they go to combat. So pretty much build one of everything so far, because that's how the game kind of works. The time is poor, so it isn't too bad right now. So we have one of everything. Also, we need a library and a prayer hall for all different units we get later on, and we need some food because these people need to eat, and we'll get some bedware. Let's get some rooms for them to sleep in. And having these rooms actually cost you gold like every day or so. So you need to adjust the quality of the rooms. You can do it over here as an overall room quality, or you can click on each single room itself and change the quality there. And the quality doesn't instantly jump. So if you want to have max quality room, it will take some time for that room to get to that quality. So now we'll get into the game, we'll unpause time. As you see, time is now ticking off, every second is an hour. We're losing gold rapidly because all these buildings are costing us money. And we send our people onto missions. So this scholar right now is very weak, but What Orders is a bit better. And as you can see here, because it's a soldier, it's very well in destroyed, chaos, and dangerous areas. And these areas are based off distance away from our original location. So the further places means it takes longer for them to get there, and it costs more gold. So usually the closer locations are safer to do first. So we'll focus on the first two, King's Home and Knight's Haven. So we'll send What Orders here to King's Home, and Nerdoculus, even though he isn't the greatest, we need to send him out still. Because right now he's just sitting here costing us money. But he can still do something, as you can see here, still, fair and whatnot when it comes to his deployment. And as you play, you get new heroes all the time. As you can see here, Wrong Story is in our reception, and he's a bard. So he's quite effective, as you can see here, in destroyed and chaotic provinces. So this is a bard, for example, with other classes like engineers, which are good for construction even, and adventurers are good for, overall solid gameplay. So we'll get a bard here, and these good weapons come rapidly as you play through, and really it's every couple of minutes or so. You can turn them down, but I think they are just the same, because you can have 30 people max. I think it's just the same 30 people all the time. At least the names repeat. I'm not too sure if the names and the roles repeat that often. So as you can see, he's got very high morale, so he's good in very dangerous situations, chaos even, and destroyed. Alert, not so much. So we'll put him into Living Isles. And when you see people onto missions, you do gain gold as they do stuff. So days till they return. Contribution means how much security will go up. And also the daily gold they earn. So he's on 81 gold a day, or 74 right now. As his stats drop, he gets a bit less efficient. So now we have an adventurer, stopgap, and as you can see here, he's a bit of everything. So he's good in all situations for the most part. But obviously, has a bit of everything, but master of none. And this is just our weekly report. Nothing really to see here besides we're losing a lot of money. Maybe reduce the quality of the rooms a little tiny bit more. And so it's just a little bit of a mix of micromanagement between having heroes here sitting in the guild to, you know, repair up, heal up, and sending them on the missions. Because if you send them on the missions when they're very weak, they obviously don't do very well. But if you don't send them at all, they don't gain any money while they sit around in here. So we'll just pause time for a bit before we run out of money. We have another person here, Whiplash. So you got a what do we got? Scout here, very good at alert situations, so very good for Knight's Haven right now. But he isn't max stats, or not. His bars aren't fully healed up, so he's got to heal up a little bit before he can do his full work. So we'll unpause the game over here. And so all the UI stuff is down here to find all your heroes. It does get a little cluttered later on. Luckily, you can press space to go through people who aren't deployed. So you can see here, Stopgap is very full on everything. So we'll probably just send him to one of these first two zones. Let's send him to King's Home again, because we do have a scout, so now he can also be very effective in that alert situation. And you saw here there were a bunch of other options also. So we got our options to just, you know, change our graphics and whatnot. Very simple, you know, just fantastic. To be honest, you don't really need all that many options in this game. It looks very nice, and I'm pretty sure it's run on everything. Look at the details. It's actually quite nice for a Unity. I'm pretty sure it's a Unity game. Can't remember correctly right now, actually. You also have trade guilds. So when you level up in an area, not level up, but when you when that area is prosperous and whatnot, and you get your guild rank up on the side here, you can end up putting guilds or trade guilds into these areas, and they give you money over time, which is really the main way to get money later on. You also can level up your guild overall. So instead of leveling up each individual hero, you can level up the guild. So you can pay here. Let's get knowledge. We want some knowledge so we can take everything up eventually. Actually, no, let's get some strength. So 125 gold, and everyone gets a small boost to their strength. That's one way of doing it. And eventually, see, we have calamities, and every so often a calamity will hit us, and when a calamity does happen, shit hits the fan for the most part, hits the ceiling, whatever you want to call it. And these areas will go down very fast. So if right now this area is 600 security, it may drop down to 200 or so. Or we have a scholar, very good in prosperous provinces, so once construction's done and whatnot, they're very effective. So we'll get some of those people in here. We can also use the local guilds in those situations when it's not, when we get hit by a calamity to kind of boost that area up in a quick, you know, sudden boost. I just repeated myself, but pretty much just so the situation doesn't get too badly, or maybe you don't have the right guild members for situations where it's in chaos, but you have good people for construction and prosperous and whatnot, so you can just pay to get through those situations. You also can make items to level up the heroes a little bit, so you know, a bit of strength here, but there's also a lot better gear down here. Where are the epics? Come on, show me some epics. Oh, no epics here today. But you can make gear here, and it takes a bit of time, costs a bit of gold, but they get stat increases. Oh, here we go, research them to get better loot. And some kitchen stuff also. Easy, simple stuff right there. Now, one thing I like about this is, because it's a management game, obviously I want to know what's going on. There's a lot of tooltips. Every bar here, I don't have to guess, you know, what the effect is, how much I'm going to get. Okay, oh, prosperity is very strong. Okay, I mean, I know it's good, it's purple. You know, over here, peace is very strong. I don't have to go, oh, knowledge, it might be okay in alert situations, but no, it has no effect. It will not affect it at all. And so if I send this person, for example, into a area which is prosperous, stats like awareness, strength, and whatnot do not get used. So these bars will not get used up. So someone like an adventurer, you can kind of send them into a prosperous region and then send them into a region which is getting under attack, and they can kind of be like a double whammy. Not double whammy, but they can fight in two areas at once in some ways like that. And if you haven't noticed yet, the names are all puns. Forrest Gump, the classic name. If you don't know Forrest Gump, you haven't seen some movies, obviously. But Forrest Gump here, and there's a lot of these little like humor bits with the names and the events that happen. One of the calamities is called Sauron. You know, reference to Lord of the Rings, obviously Sauron. And there's a lot of these little references to puns, which they're kind of terrible, but they're a good laugh overall, actually. And, you know, kind of add to the humor of our guild commander. So we got Scholar here. Ooh, he isn't the best at construction. Actually, I lie, he's very good at construction. He's got the knowledge. Let's send him to King's Home, level this area up. And in a couple of weeks, maybe, we'll get a calamity happen. We do get a little bit thing up here to tell us, you know, how long to the next calamity is likely to happen. And for an indie game also, this is very bug-free. Besides the initial, I tried to make it go to window mode at the start, using 1080p resolution still, it crashed. But since that one initial crash, I've had no issues really throughout the whole game. So our goal is to obviously, you know, just get as much money as possible so we can keep sending people onto missions, and also to get all these areas into, you know, a prosperous state, so we can get guilds in there, we get, you know, more loot, we can get more gold. Just pretty much just prepare for the final attack, which is around week 90, I believe. And when you get to that week, everything just hits the fan, and you have 16 weeks to make all your areas back into a prosperous state, because the bad guys attack everybody. And that's what you're planning up for the most part. We got a new character here. We got Cover for Youth Ears. Cover Your Ears. Oh god. He's a bard. Is it a bard? Yeah, he's a bard, I think. You can find him, yeah. Bards are very good in like chaotic situations. So Living Star, Living Isle, even you can have this guy. Oh, everything is in need of being filled up. But we got a scout here. Scouts are good in chaos. Send him over there. Got a soldier there, also good in chaos, I think. Yep. We'll send him over there too. And because the distance of these ones are really far, I feel the strategy is just kind of level up the first 2 or 3 and then work on the ones later. Because that way you can have all your scholars, you know, working in your first areas and then have all your fighters in the second areas and then eventually just, you know, kind of all just defend everything as calamities happen. We should get a calamity very soon, I hope so at least, because that's very much the biggest RNG element in the game. So overall, you see, this game's pretty quick for the most part. A lot of these things are happening very quick. The weeks are going by. Oh, there's a possibility of calamity striking tomorrow. You know, we're trying to send all our people to the quests and whatnot. Trying to just get everything working. But later on, it gets very, very tedious and it's kind of slow in many cases. Also, you cannot kick your guild members. So let's load up a different save. This is this save right here. Let's load up. Let's get this generic one here. This guild name. So as you can see here, we're in our little, you know, more progress guild run here. And you can see we've got all these chaotic regions going on. Everything is in alert, dangerous, chaos, all this stuff's going on, destroyed even. And our scholar is kind of useless right now. As you can see, scholars are good in prosperity, peace, a little bit in these regions right now, but it's not worth sending him on. And construction and peace, prosperity, again, for the knowledge. And so his stats are kind of being wasted, where I want to send these scouts out, but this guy, for example, Forest Grump, same again, those names gets repeated a lot. I can't send them out because he doesn't have full energy, and I kind of want everything to be maxed out before he goes. You know, small things like that, and I can't kick Infinitus the Scholar out of the guild, so I'm kind of stuck with him. Same before in this playthrough, I had everything very green, everything was good until all these calamities started happening, and I had all these bards which are just useless, and they just kind of sat there for the first, like, you know, 10 or 15 minutes of my playthrough. And because of this, I don't know when to send somebody. So right now I have this scholar. He might be worth sending in some regions. But until I read every little thing, odd, dangerous, fair effect, and I kind of work out where to send him, I just don't know when I should send him and if I should send him at all. Because I do have to pay to send them onto missions. And I don't know how much money I'm going to gain from those missions until I actually send them. And it could just cost me money and in the end just be, you know, detrimental to my end goal in saving the world. And I said the calamities happen a lot. These bring about a lot of RNG. This is like a lot of RNG. Depending on what people you get at the start, so you always get a scholar and a soldier, but the people who come to your guild, so let's say this guy here, engineer, right now this guy is useless to me. I don't need any engineers, but if this was the beginning of the game, from this point on I could just be screwed through my whole playthrough just because of this start. And same thing happens for calamities. I had King's Home and Knight's Haven both at Prosperous, then Wild Goats attacked, and then Saruman's army came. And now both of those areas are, you know, at alert. And 4 of the people who are probably deployed right now at Night Havens are some sort of scholar or some sort of person who is made to beat it in prosperous times, so they're just being wasted right now. And I have all these people fighting in these regions, and it's probably my biggest pet peeve of the game is, all these heroes I have are faceless in a way. I just see stats. You know, I can't level up, I got no manners here, I can't level them up, they don't get stronger when they get missions, and they don't die. And so let's say if I send a scholar into the frontier where Saruman's army is taking over, he's made to be, you know, peaceful, build buildings and whatnot. He doesn't get, there's no bad thing for him, there's no deficit of sending him there, he doesn't die in any way. And all I just see is there's a pile of stats. We just got a weapon here for doing our mission, very nice. We'll go load up the other save, which is the furthest one I have, which actually finished the whole game. So maybe if there were like events I could send these people on, you know, imagine, let's say, I could send Forest Grump to defend the town, I could tell him to defend King's Home, you know, these Iron Horde, too much wow, Saruman's army attacks them, but I could send Forest Grump to, instead of just, you know, increase security, he can go fight the Calamity, and I know he survived the battle barely, but then later on, you know, Saruman's army comes back, you know, he might kill Forest Grump, and then I have this connection, like, oh no, I lost Forest Grump, I've lost one of my, you know, my key elements to my gameplay. And it'd be like XCOM Enemy Unknown, where, you know, you level up all these heroes, you give them all this gear, you give them all these stat bonuses, you know, you just give them experience to increase everything. and they die. And that connection, the feel you get in XCOM Enemy Unknown, you don't really get in this game, which is what I've kind of wanted when I was playing. So what happened? Is it a bug? Huh, this might be the first bug Brbteabreak had. I just loaded up my playthrough, and no one is in my guild. Huh. Okay, that's very interesting. That's the first bug Brbteabreak had. But you can see here, everything's going downtown. And I've got my guild rank Heroic. And in a couple of weeks' time from now, I would have actually got attacked from the Iron Horde. Let's actually load up a different save. And never knew that actually happened. That's the first time I've had that happen. Apologies there. But that's the game. So as you play through, you recruit new people. You send them places. This guy is useless for the most part. Send them to King's Home for the sake of it. You get gold. You want to build guild halls and everything. Guild halls, trade halls. Just get more money. So you just kind of build up this massive gold. So you just keep sending people on the missions later on. And even if they're not that efficient, they still increase the security of the area. And that's the problem with, I feel, with the game. Later on, it gets very, very tedious. And it's lacks a bit of depth later on. There isn't that much besides just sending people onto missions very blindly. You don't really pay much attention to what you're sending the missions on. Oh, I'm gonna rogue here. Oh, these stats are this. I send them on there. I don't really care what the calamity is. I'm just sending people to attack things. And I don't really, enjoy the gameplay later on. Early on, it's really intense. Like right now, it's a good time where everything's going down. Micromanaging everything very efficiently. But later on, when you just have all these prosperous regions, you just keep your people onto, because they always stay on the same thing they're on before. This guy was Night Haven's last time. You just keep hitting deploy over and over again till that bar fills out completely. But I enjoy the concept. The concept is very unique. I love these management style games, especially when it comes to these fantasy settings with guilds and teammates and whatnot. And it is really enjoyable early on, but just later on, it just lacks something. And I just kind of feel like I'm going through the motions when I play the game in its later stages, which is just the only problem with the game. Let's send the engineer anywhere. No, look at these engineers. Registerius, Specifius, they're just all ready to go. But the Bard, I need him right now, but he doesn't have the stats to do anything, which is a little bit of a shame. But we can send some soldiers out if you need to. Look at this. Pornus Fatium had some strength in her. Or him, I can't really tell. Is he good in Dangerous? He's alright. He's alright. Let's get King's Home back. But yeah, the game's only $5, and you'll get at least 1 or 2 playthroughs through it easily. But after that, you'll be done with it. The first playthrough, you'll be a little lost, trying to work out what you're doing. You might get some bad RNG also, and you just kind of maybe fall apart. That's what happened, like, for me at least. And second playthrough, I just kind of blitzed through it. I don't know if it was good RNG or what, but I got some goats, got some Salmon's army, but there was some zombie invasions, for example, and they're about medium, so I could have got more of those, make it a bit easier, for example. But even though those playthroughs, you can get like 2 or 3 hours out of the game in like one playthrough at least. So even though those long playthroughs, they're not as enjoyable in the later segments. And here we go, here's another one, the calamity events I'm talking about. And so later on, just go through the motions, and the RNG is there, so it's a bit of like a roguelike where you keep playing it, trying to get better every time. But you don't have that much actual control when it comes to skill to actually make the roguelike elements interesting in a way where something like Super Meat Boy would be. So yeah, that's the game in a nutshell. It's very unique. I love the concept. I love guild management. Anything in these fantasy settings is amazing. But the small tedious things that happen later on just kind of make the game a bit lackluster in my opinion. If they can build onto this, maybe add some more events in a way, send multiple people in like groups, that's would be very effective. Maybe something like the World of Warcraft garrison missions that are happening right now. If you play World of Warcraft, you make a team of 3, 1 to 3 people. You send them in groups to counteract different things. So this region is in chaos right now. If I send 3 soldiers there, maybe 2 soldiers and a scout, and they fight the area off, and I get like a big bonus from it. Maybe some like big, instead of like trickling gold, and maybe like big lumps of gold, maybe more loot, stuff like that. Maybe I see the actual how much, gold I'm gaining, how much guild rep I'm gaining at the end. Much more enjoyable to play through. But right now, it's these very small incremental increases over and over again. Let's just send everything off. I don't know what's going on. Look, we just send everybody, and our gold will just go up. So we're just gaining gold. But I don't know what I did. But if I just left them in here, I would not gain gold. I don't know. It's just, I get very mixed feelings about this game. I want it to be good. I really do. Because I love this concept, as I said many times already. But hopefully they, add some updates to this, maybe some changes, and I don't know, it might be a really great game in its full and final state if they decide to update and patch it. Anyway guys, this has been my first impression for Guild Commander. Be sure to check it out. If you want to see $5 on Steam at the moment, I'll leave a link below so you can get it directly. And yeah, $5, it's not that bad, you know, it's the cost of a sandwich, really. So if you want to try it out, check it out. It's a lot of fun. For a couple of hours, you get your money's worth. Anyway, guys, it's been Brbteabreak. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.